Well, it's no secret everything is bigger in Texas, right? Including our neighborhoods, those giant homes. That's why people want to come here. And despite fluctuations in the housing market, some neighborhoods out there are still selling hundreds of homes. So here to talk to us about some of our fastest growing neighborhoods in DFW is Will Anderson with the Dallas Business Journal. Will, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. All right, we're going to dive right into it. The housing market is in a slowdown, but people are still buying tons of homes in certain neighborhoods. Talk to us about which ones are getting that traction.
Sure. Every year at Dallas Business Journal, we analyze the big master plan communities. We look at their sales, their new home construction, and part of what we found this year is that Dallas-Fort Worth area does these big neighborhoods bigger than anyone else. We, according to information from Zonda, this home building research platform, we were #1 in the country, the Metroplex as a whole, in terms of new home construction for the past year. And Houston was like #2, and then it's a long way down to #3, Phoenix. So we've got these huge neighborhoods. They're where you'd expect with suburban sprawl. For the top 5 selling master plan communities are in Collin County to the north, including the top 3. It was Painted Tree in McKinney, Legacy Hills in Salina, and Tillage Farms in Princeton. And then, you're seeing some interesting stuff in Denton happening. You're seeing a little bit to the east, west, and south. You can truly find them all over. But the interesting wrinkle is what you just said, that, well, it's a turbulent time in the housing market. So what does that mean for these master plan communities, and how are they doing? Yeah,
let's talk about Painted Tree. Why is it so popular with buyers right now?
So the thing that we found out when we talked to the developers of these huge neighborhoods is what's helping is that where you can find the amenities, that's where you find the home sales. And Painted Tree in McKinney is like a poster child for the amenities. And they've got dozens of miles of trails, I think a 200-acre green belt, amenity centers. And what residential developers told us is it's changing the way they think about these projects. They need to have the amenities done much earlier in the process so that when home buyers are coming out, they see the families at the pool and the splash pad on the trails so they can imagine themselves living there. And so truly these really big master plan communities that can invest in that early on are the ones seeing the most success.
Yeah, the idea of if you build it, they'll come, right?
Yeah, but it's kind of reversing it where you have to build it and then they come.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that tough competition, because when it comes to getting into these popular neighborhoods, it might not be so easy. I mean, how tough is it?
Well, there is a lot of inventory out there. So when we looked, sales are down in new home communities slightly. If you want to get technical, there's, I think, about 2.7 months of new home inventory, which is above the normal range of 2 to 2.5. So there's a fair amount out there. And then there's even more. There's over 100,000 developed lots with no homes built on them yet. The builders are waiting to start construction until things improve a bit. But there's choices out there. And one of the takeaways that I would like to stress is if you're a buyer of a new home, think of the leverage you have because of that. So you can probably ask for more incentives at, cash at close, rate buy down, things like that. There was a time 3 or 4 years ago where you took the builder's offer or you didn't get the house and you just moved on. They were selling so quickly, and that has changed.
Would you call this a buyer's market?
Yeah, so being slightly higher than the normal inventory, it is pushing toward buyers, not a whole bunch. And the builders can, they can control how much they decide to move forward. But yes, it is it's in buyer's market territory, yeah.
Perfect. Just before we sign off, I want to talk quick tips, right? Just the quickest way that you can put it. For those buyers that are out there, they're wanting to get into one of these neighborhoods, I guess what's your #1 piece of advice?
Can I go back to, know how far your commute is? So drive from where you're working. That's a huge component of it. And in sprawling DFW, it can be longer than you think sometimes. So try it on a work day, see how far it is. And if you qualify, especially for a new home with incentives, look at it.
Look at it. And then maybe be upset later.
It's possible. Don't take my advice.
Avoid the commute. The roads are awful. Well, great insight, Will. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.